All right, everyone. Well, I don't usually do a morning recap because it's, well, not even 8 a.m., but I just wanted to put something out there. So, as I'm sitting down here right now, we already have a stock that's up over 700% ASNS. So, one of the things I think that it's important to remember is when you sit down and you already see a stock up that much, number one, what do I recognize? Okay, the market's frothy. It's kind of hot right now. We're seeing some huge moves, and we saw some yesterday as well. So, taking the temperature of the market, things are heating up. But I've already missed this move, right? Unless I was sitting down at 4 a.m., which I wasn't, I missed this move. So, rather than try to chase this stock, what I want to do is I want to take this as basically, the measure of the strength of the market and apply that when I see another stock that looks good. This is sort of that concept that there's always going to be another setup around the corner. So rather than, making a silly mistake on this, wait for the next one. Now, let's get a little bit of context here. Let's see. So yesterday, CCM, so if we step back for a second, so MLGO yesterday, this thing goes up 800%. And the move started early at like 4 a.m. as well. We had a 4 a.m. move on GameStop on Monday, and then we have a 4 a.m. move on MLGO on Tuesday. Of course, GameStop made a lot of sense. MLGO, I don't know. But anyways, it makes this big move. And then CCM after hours makes this huge move. Now, I didn't see, was there a catalyst on CCM? Because I was looking and I didn't see one. But I'm wondering if maybe I just missed it because I haven't sat down on my computer since last night. No catalyst. Is it a Chinese company? It's a Chinese company. Okay. That's all I needed to know. No catalyst. It's Chinese. Okay. So this goes straight to 8 and then, comes back down. I mean, it didn't come back down all the way, but it's come back down a lot. So now ASNS, kind of this big squeeze and coming back down. I'll say that I can make a lot of money trading the front side of these types of moves right in here. This is when I can do really well. And, I can also do well on sort of the second move up. But if let's look at MLGO yesterday for a second. And you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to pop the MACD on the 5-minute chart. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do it here. And let's just look at this. Yeah, this is fascinating. So MLGO, we had a jackknife right there, that jackknife candle, and there was another one kind of in this area. So more or less the MACD stayed open, almost closed until right here when we had this jackknife. So based on sort of my philosophy of trading the front side of the move when MACD is still open, even on the 5-minute, you still got the exit indicator right here. It did cross back over. It gave you kind of a final push and then came all the way back down here. So anyways, and I saw some people who traded it yesterday and got chopped up the way I did. I mean, it was not easy. So CCM, front side of the move when the MACD is open on the 1-minute, the 5-minute, sort of pulled back there. MITQ pulling away right now, 118%. But I think really the big picture to remember right now is that we're seeing a frothy market. We're seeing stocks up. Yesterday we had like 3 stocks up over 500%. It was definitely 2. Maybe it was 3. Today we've already got a stock up over 500%. So, okay, this is a reflection of the market that we're in. And, what's kind of funny is that yesterday, in spite of the market being seemingly as strong as it was, I didn't have a big green day, which left me feeling a little like I underperformed. But I want to be careful about overcompensating today. Like all of a sudden coming out swinging really hard today to make up for it, because that can cause you to make a big mistake. And I think we had a lot of people that made some big mistakes on GameStop. People who thought it was definitely going to go to the moon and just bought and held and then got wiped out. And now I was just hitting base hits. So I traded the front side of the move. I took another trade there and then I was done. And then MLGO, I think people tried to make up for it there. So we're getting into this sort of market where people are being more aggressive than I think they typically would be. And, it's like when you start seeing people hitting home runs, you start being like, I want to swing harder. I want to get a home run. And I get that. And I feel that too. But just remember at the end of the day, you're the one that's sitting with your P&L. If you take a huge loss, well, that you're the one that's stuck with it. Nobody else. It's you. So measure your risk. And although this is a market right now where it seems that there could be more reward for risk taken because we're seeing juicier moves, just make sure you're focusing on the right stock at each moment. So like yesterday we had MLGO, which was really obvious. And then once it got choppy, it was done. And I think a lot of people overtraded it and got chopped out and gave back profit that they made. I saw that happen to a number of people. And it kind of happened to me too, but to a lesser extent because I walked away earlier. But even still, just be careful of that today. Right now, ASNS feels like the most obvious. But in 12 hours, or whatever, even in 5 hours, when I look at this scanner, we're going to see different stocks on here. We might even see stocks that aren't even on the scan yet, and that could be the biggest move. So just remember, there's always another one around the corner. And I just want to focus on trading the front side of the move when it's really clear. And, once we get those MACD crossovers and we start to move to the backside, that's when I think it's time to slow down, take a step back, and wait for the next one. So as we sit right now, coming up to 8 a.m., I missed ASNS. There's nothing I can do about that, right? Fantastic to see. It's a lot like MLGO, right? MLGO, big move at, 4 or 5 a.m., same as ASNS. And then if we remember, MLGO going into the open was more or less choppy, right? It had this big move and then it was choppy. And then it pulled away between like 9:30 and 11, 12. So maybe we'll have that on ASNS. I don't know. If I had to guess, looking at the daily chart, we're above the 200. The float's pretty low. Yeah. Equivalents. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me. Just to go back here. Shelf registration. So, yeah, I think we do have some risk of an offering, secondary offering, but anyways, we'll see. So ASNS, the only thing is if you have an offering, there could be inside that, they could sell into a move. So something to keep an eye on. CCM, that one, it's a 42 million share float Chinese company. I'm not going to trade that one at this point. I don't think that that's going to rally back up. I think that was sort of a one pop, and now it's moving on to something else. And that's something to be aware of. Don't get stuck on one while it's pulling back, and all of a sudden traders jump to focus on the next one. You don't want to do that. So I've had that happen before where I jump in a stock and I'm like, this is the one, and then it starts dying, and I don't want to give up on it. But everyone else has gone and switched to the next stock that popped up. So I would say, moral of the story here, be quick to abandon what doesn't look good, focus on what's hot. This is the way momentum trading is. We're chasing momentum around the market. And it is chasing to a certain extent. We buy high, we sell higher, but we're trading with a trend. And when you have moves like this where you get 3, 4, 500%, this is where we can, as momentum traders, do very well. So this is good to see. It's exciting, but let's make sure we, stay focused, keep our head on our shoulders, and manage risk accordingly. All right, so that is the game plan here for this morning.